The price of freedom is death. We're coming to get our check.
Black first, my brothers and my sisters. Welcome to the Afro Elite YouTube channel. I am your host, Afro Elite. Before we get started, please make sure that you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, hit all of the buttons, all right? All of the buttons. That way we can get to 10K. We're on our way, and that's because of all of us. That's because of you guys liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, all of what you guys do. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, we have people in the building already. Now, before we get started, I know this subject, pull my keyboard back, this subject is a little different from what we usually talk about, especially on a Monday. We start off the week serious, but this is the channel for Black empowerment. And of course, when it comes to Black empowerment, relationships are a big deal. And I wanted to touch on this subject before it got away because I saw something. I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to bring it up because nobody's really bringing it up in a very balanced and mature way. And that's something we do the same way we did with the Kiki Palmer situation. We touch on social situations, but we do it in a very mature fashion. We use, real life examples, data, all that stuff. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Before we do all of that, any of that, let me show you guys this real quick. I said last week, I gave a warning last week that we were going to have a 20% off sale with brand new designs. All right. So I'm going to show it to you guys right now. Show you the designs right now. Okay. Hold on. Let me make it bigger. Okay. These are the brand new designs. I only got a couple of them. I'm still working on, because I got some designer. Well, I'm a designer right now. My designers are kind of on hold for right now, as I just made this real quick. Everybody was wanting some like reparations something. Everybody was asking reparations something. Put something with reparations. Make something with reparations. So I did. I made this together. As you can see, that's Black people with money. You got reparations. You see the $ thing. Now, people are wondering what this is. This right here is a panoramic mug. As you can see, this is the reparations thing, and it wraps around the cup. It's not on one, and it's not just on one side. You can see it's three of them. So the reparations thing with the fist, it circles around the entire thing. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. So it's going to circle the mug right there. So that's what it means when it says panoramic. Okay. Of course, really our best seller, the red, white, and blue FBA thing. That's clearly well, I'm not going to say clearly. I know the numbers. That's the best seller right there. People love it, okay? When I announced that, people was buying hoodies, bags, shirts, a lot of shirts, a lot of shirts, but people was buying all that stuff, and that's 20% off for 6 days, y'all. 6 days. I told you guys we were coming up with a sale. I said that a while ago. There's still a couple of things I'm working on. Of course, we have all of the other designs, the Dr. Francis Cresswell saying, the Frederick Douglass, all the other stuff is coming out. So we're still in the process of getting some of that stuff cleared. You got to get a lot of that stuff, cleared when it comes to certain things. But yes, absolutely. So that is the sale. And I'm going to announce that a little bit later on when we have more people. And you like the reparations design? Okay. Oh, and you got the FBA shirt. Thank you, brother. Or Hurricane IQ. Thank you very much, Hurricane fam. I appreciate that. The reparations thing, I assume a lot of people are gonna like that one. So yeah, we gotta represent with the reparations thing. So I just want to show you guys a couple of the designs. We're still coming out with more of the stuff. It's around hoodie season, so people are going to want new hoodies and stuff like that. So what we're doing now, I'm going to take this off. What we're doing now is, instead of just the regular hoodies, we're working on having one of those like heavyweight hoodies, those big kind of hefty hoodies. You know what I'm saying? So that way, if you're a hoodie person, we got sweatshirts out. But if you're a hoodie person and you don't just want the regular hoodie, you want kind of like the coat hoodie, we're coming out with that. So that'll be out in like the next day or so when it comes to those designs. So y'all definitely go check that out. Definitely support. Yeah, been a long time. I know, but we're gonna have more sales coming up more frequently now. Now that I got some design stuff straightened out. So thank you guys for that. We got almost 100 people in the room right now. Okay, 60 something people in the room. Yes. Yeah, the heavyweight hoodie. Yeah, the heavyweight hoodie will that's people really like that. People really like heavyweight hoodies. So we're definitely working on that. We're working on that, like the hats, you know, the not the like baseball cap hats, but like the winter hats. So we're getting that stuff because it's about to be cold. So we're trying to really get out the winter clothing out and stuff like that. Of course, you know, the mugs, people gonna, drink, stuff like this. Of course, I always have this when it's something hot, or I have my other cups and stuff like that. So we have that. So I just want to show you guys that. And our sister Nikki put the link to that in the description. So there, that not the description, the chat room. So there that is. Yeah, beanies. Yeah, that's what they call it. Beanies. Okay. Yep, that's what they call it. So yeah, we're getting all that stuff out. We're getting all that stuff out. So thank you guys for supporting. Thank you guys for that. I announced it earlier today. I already got some sales earlier today. So we'll definitely be getting more of that rolled out and more designs coming out. But I got to, with designs, you got to make sure it looks good on the clothes, because it might look good on the design, but it don't really match that well with the colors. Because, we wanted to wear all of the designs. That's one good thing. All of designs, they fit very well on all different colors. And sometimes you have some designs that only look good on like really dark colors or really light colors, and we want our thing to be kind of universal. So it's a process with that. So we're working on that. I'm wearing one of the designs right now. I haven't worn this shirt. This is one of my favorite shirts. I haven't worn this shirt in a long time. The Fred Hampton shirt, great quality. I've had this shirt for the longest. But let's get into the subject of tonight. So before we do that, you guys already know what we have to do to protect the interest of this channel. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, we're back. Now, this is an interview Tyler Perry did with this lady named Crystal Renee Haylett. I don't know who she is. She has a large following. I mean, you would imagine she would have a large following if she can have an interview with Tyler Perry. So I'm not going to speak negatively of her at all. I have no idea who she is. I'm not going to co-sign her. So I'm just going to let you guys know that now. So I don't want anybody, if they find some receipts on her, be like, damn, Afro, I thought you said she was cool. I'm telling you right now, I don't know her. I don't know what she thinks or believes. I just know about this interview. So I took it back. Everybody's probably seen the controversial thing that Tyler Perry said, but I took it back a little bit so we can get kind of the full context of the situation of why he said what he said.
Or if I try anything else, I'll be like, no, y'all come get me. I'm going to the hospital. 5 milligrams.
Going to the hospital.
Yeah, 5 milligrams. But understanding, yeah, and having people meet you at your work. Yeah.
That's what I was. Yes, when you said that, we were one of our many nights at your island, darling, in the King's Landing room at the table. You said it just hit you. You probably was on the gummy there too. You was like, "Meet me at my work," and we were all like, "Wow,
yeah,
that's it."
Yeah,
that's it.
And anybody who can't do that, that doesn't mean they're not worthy of you. That means that they need to either attempt, try, learn, find out enough about you to be able to figure out what that is.
Yes.
And that's not money, because you listen, a lot of women, especially Black women, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but I will. In our society right now, Black women are making a lot more money for the most part than Black men. Right? There are a lot of Black men who are successful, but for the most part, Black women are making the money. So if you can find love, if that man works at whatever job,
Mm-hmm.
and is a good man and is good to you
Mm-hmm.
and honors the house and honors his wife and does what he can,
Mm-hmm.
because his gift may not be your gift.
Exactly.
That is okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's not somebody who's beneath you.
Yeah.
That's somebody who came to love you at your worth,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And as long as he's secure in himself to
Mm-hmm.
know that, yep, she makes most of the money, all I can pay is the light bill. As long as she's comfortable enough to say, I'm going to cover the mortgage and all the other stuff, you handle the light bill, baby, you can take me to dinner every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
That is fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's so hard for a lot of people to take in, because that means, no, I need somebody to who is they need to make 5 times more, and I got to have well, you
Uh-huh.
but go
Keep
on,
looking,
go on, keep your
girl.
list, baby.
Yeah.
God bless you. Hope it happens. Go on, keep your list.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, got that out the way. There are some things that he said that were just factually incorrect. And then there's a deeper thing. The reason why I wanted to do a live about it, because there's a deeper level of this conversation besides just that. The number one thing I want to say is the light bill is a lowering your standards financially. That's one thing. Lowering your standards financially to the light bill alone, that is okay. Let's look. Hold on. Before we do that, because we got the numbers on the light bill, y'all. We have the numbers on what the light bill is. So I was able to find this for you guys. Okay, this is the average electricity bills in every state, ranking all states, including DC. So I know some light bills might be a little bit higher or lower depending on where you are. Okay, so we're checking all of this stuff out, right? So we're scrolling down. As you can see, there's a chart right here. One is like the most affordable, and then all the way up to like dark purple, that's the least affordable. So we're going to go down. This is a kilowatt. This is how much is. So it's $10 average, I guess, kilowatt, which is around monthly bill in Utah is $80.24. All right, $80.24. New Mexico, $86.66. So going all the way down. Now, let's say there's not a lot of black people who live in Utah, let's be real, but let's go all the way down. Illinois. Now, this isn't going by city, this is going by state. Okay, this is just the state. All right. So you have Illinois, all of these things. This is for the average. This isn't for every household, but this is for the average. All the way down to the most expensive place for electricity, which is Hawaii. Okay, this is Hawaii. Hawaii, most expensive place for electricity is $162.66. Okay, which is way more expensive than a lot of these other places, give or take. Now, of course, people might consider the fact that if you have like a family or something like that, it might be more, it might be less. It depends if you have, a family, whatever the case is. But the thing is that, let's be real. Even if let's say it's double that of Hawaii. Let's say it's double. Let's say the light bill is like $300 a month, which is high for a light bill. Let's say that $300 a month, that's high for a light bill. As a grown man, you should be able to afford more than $300 a month for a light bill. That's not like when he said if he can just cover the light bill and she can cover the mortgage. I'm thinking, did this man just get out of jail? Is this man 17? Is he a panhandler? How is the light bill? That's the light bill. I literally know 17-year-olds who got a part-time job at some fast food restaurant, and they can pay more than a couple $100s a month. A month, not a week, a month. That means within the span of 30 days, 30 or 31 days, you can only afford a little over, and that's in Hawaii, you can only afford a little over $160 a month. And then going on dates every now and then. Fellas. Okay. Brothers, we're gonna talk about this because I'm gonna bring this up. This is something I made a tweet about last year. Blew up, didn't expect it to, but it blew up. Got death threats and everything for it. Look at this. I said, now look, and I showed you the date too. Look at the date. This was in 2022, at the end of July 2022. I said, message for black men. You cannot be a leader if you're broke. Focus on getting your weight up. Boy, who remembers this? Because that took Twitter, and it was called Twitter at the time, took Twitter through a storm. It was a whole bunch of people like, oh, I can't believe you would say that a man's value isn't only his money. It was a whole bunch of straw man arguments, a whole bunch of gaslighting. So you saying a man has to be rich? It was a lot of that. It was, I'll kill you, nigga. It was a lot of that stuff. It was a lot of, Afro, didn't you say you used to work at McDonald's? I did when I was 17 years old. I don't now, but after I can't you, it was a lot of that. It was a lot of that. Now, message to the brothers out here. Let's be honest. Let's be very real. We live in the 21st century. We do not live in a century where you can go out and you can hunt a deer and bring it back home and slaughter it in the backyard and cook it for dinner. We do not live in that society anymore. Okay. We live in 2023. My bad. We live in that year. We live in a year that you need money to pretty much do anything, even to protect and provide. Even as far as provision is concerned, it takes a level of income to provide, to protect effectively. This is why I say things like this, because when I say things like you can't be a leader if you're broke, I mean what Tyler Perry was talking about. I mean that. I didn't say you got to be balling. I'm not balling. I don't think any of us are balling. That's why we fighting for reparations. Hashtag get your reparations mug. Get your reparations mug. You don't have to necessarily be balling, nor does that say that a man's money is all he is worth. Nor does that put the ultimate value of a human being, a man, a black man, on how much money he has in his bank account. That's not what that means. Now, we understand, okay? We fall on hard times. We understand people get into accidents. I can tell you a story. I got into an accident. Somebody had knocked me. Somebody was speeding, had sideswiped me into a truck. Bounced off. I totaled the car. And I don't need to go over the thing, but I totaled my car years ago. Didn't have a car, still in college, still working, had to take the bus every morning. I literally had to wake up. Because I was going to UPS at this time. UPS, you needed to be at UPS at 3:00. The bus to UPS took you to work, like it would pick you up about 2:30. So I would have to wake up somewhat around 1:00 ish, like 1:30 ish, to walk to the bus station to get on the bus to go to work every day. And then after that, I would get a ride to school. So I would have to, and I was broke because I'd have to fill people's gas tank up. I couldn't really, because at that time too, I was also, driving around doing Uber and all that. I couldn't do that. I didn't have a car. So my money was only UPS at that time. So I was struggling at that time. Now, mind you, that was some years ago. I was younger, but the thing is that people do fall on hard times. Let's just be honest about that. But the problem is not necessarily falling on difficult times, hard times. That's not necessarily a problem. The problem is really the motion. Let's be honest, because we're really gonna get layered here, right? So this is why I need you guys to hit that like button. All right, let's hit that like button. The problem is not you're falling on hard times or whatever the case is. The problem is that you're complacent with the position that you're at in life, and you don't have the work ethic and the drive. Now, notice I'm not saying the motivation, but the drive and the discipline to get you out of whatever situation you're in. You don't have the ideas, the creativity, the connections. You don't have any of that. and you don't desire that. That's the biggest point. You don't desire it, not just because I want it to be, but because I'm desiring it and I'm actually going to achieve it. That's the biggest point, because I was still getting up at 1 o'clock to go to work, to walk to the bus to go to work. I was still doing that Monday through Friday. All right. So I was still doing all of that and going to school at the same time. All right. And I was broke essentially. You know what I'm saying? Now I could afford more than just a light bill a month, but you know what I'm saying? I was bad. But here's the thing, when I said you can't lead, because that didn't break me. I wasn't a broken man even when I had my situation going on. I was still a man who looked at this being all like, okay, I'll get another car. That's okay. Cars come and go. I'll make more money. Money can come and go. My drive is still there. I'm still going to achieve that. I'm still going to work for that. Everything is still there. Everything is still there, right? And I made it out of that position. So, with that being said, y'all, this is what I was saying when I was talking about broke black men can't lead, because of what Tyler Perry said. Now, Tyler Perry, if you notice what he said, he was saying, oh, he can only afford the light bill, not because he's down bad or whatever, but hey, that's just what he can afford. He does what he can. He can only afford the light bill. You got the mortgage, but he gives you a massage every day when you come home from work. He cooks, he cleans, he does all of the housewife stuff. You know what I'm saying? He's like all of that stuff. Tyler Perry is not saying a woman should be in that position. She should hold a man down or help him out or whatever the case is. While he's trying to get his foot to, he's trying to get, back in a good position. She's just saying, hey, if he loves you, if he loves you and he honors the household or whatever the case is, then you should be fine with him only being able to afford a couple $100s a month. No, she should not be. I don't advise it. If my sisters, my cousins, anybody I know said, I'm with this guy, he loves me to death, he would do anything for me. He's a panhandler though. He goes around shaking an empty McDonald's cup, and he brings home a few dollars a day, and over the course of the month he can only afford the light bill. I would tell her she is crazy. I would tell her, what are you doing? He needs to focus on getting his stuff together. He does not need to be worried about being in a relationship at all. All right. That's what I would say. That's because that doesn't even make sense to tell somebody that. Yo. Okay. So, we're going to look into some of the other data, right? We saw the data with the light bill. Then we saw, now I want to show you this. Now he keeps saying, for the most part, black women earn more than black men. That is not true. And everybody who peddles that, they never cite any statistics. None of that is ever cited. Shout out to everybody in the room here. I wonder if my notifications are going out or if I'm being shadow banned or something, because my views are looking very different from how they normally do. I can't It's very interesting, y'all. Very interesting. It is what it is. People will see it when it's time for them to see it. Now, this is men. This is men from 2019 to 2020. Okay, this is black non-Hispanic. So we're talking about FBA. This is black non-Hispanic men. Let's look at this. From ages 20 to 29, okay, that's when you're first starting off or whatever, you make $19,900. And this is the median income a year. Okay, that's part-time at McDonald's, Walmart, whatever the case is. Once you reach your 30s, it spikes up. It takes a bigger jump. Okay. That is, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Okay. That's 34,000. Then when you hit your 40s, it's another bigger jump. That's 47,000. And then when you hit your 50s, depending on that, you pretty much go up $100 more per medium. Okay, this was 2019 to 2020. So let's check this out, y'all. So we're going to look at women from 2019 to 2020. Now remember this. Remember this right here. So when we switch it around, now we see the things kind of go up, but the numbers are actually smaller. So don't just look at the graphs and how tall the graphs get. Okay, look at the actual numbers. For the most part, around the age 20, black men and black women start off somewhat making the same, black men a little bit more. Then 30 pops off. Black men was making a little bit more. 40 pops off. Black men were making around the age of 40. Black men started making much more. 50s, black men are making more than that. So black men are making in all different age groups more than black women are. Okay, and this comes from the Social Security Administration. All right, these are the actual numbers. So some people are saying things like, oh, well, black women used to make more than black men, and black men only started. All right, so we're just going to look at this. We're not going to look at white and all that stuff. We're just going to look at this. So we're going to look at down here when it comes to women from age 20 to 59 from 2005 to 2020. Now, as you can see here, they don't break it up from age, they break it up from decade. So 2005, 2006, 2010, 2011, 2015, 2016, 2019, 2020. So when we look here, okay, you see the highest is 31,500. It was 29,400, and then it kind of dipped around the 2010, 2000, pretty much from 2010 to 2016, and then it took another jump in 2019 to 2020. So this is all the way from 2005. But when we look at what black men were earning that same time, we see black men in 2005, this is much higher, 35,300. It took a dip. It did take a dip with both of them, 31,000, 32,000, and then another 35,300. So black men, the median income in 2019, 2020 would be the same it was from 2005 to 2006. All right. So let me get this off the screen and acknowledge this super chat real fast. Shout out to Walter Walburn for the $9 super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your super chat. I appreciate everybody who's in here. You guys really do mean a lot to me. I really, really do appreciate that. Thank you very much, brother. So let's get that out the way, that black women earn more collectively than black men. Mind you, this is not accounting at all for any sort of debt, college debt, mortgage, children, anything. This is talking about how much money, according to the Social Security's office, do you make a year. From 2005 to 2020, black men yearly have earned more money than black women. This is not to say black women are lazy or anything, but this is to show you, because I got to show you for a reason, because we're going to be going forward with some other videos. I have to show you that for a reason. So the thing is that we have to understand that when people say stuff like, oh, black women, y'all do better, we don't have to acknowledge black women's greatness by like downing black men. Y'all doing better than your men. Anybody who says that or pushes that narrative or says anything like that, they're not bringing any statistics in the situation. They're not mentioning any statistics in the situation. All right. So let's be honest with that. Now, I showed you the statistics for a reason. My thing is, we're going to get to some of the responses, because what he said caused a lot of different controversy. So we're going to start looking into it, and we're going to start breaking some of this stuff down, right? So we're going to start about right here.
In May, Ayanla was telling us
back to the man providing for the house. It's very simple.
Here we go again. In May, Ayanla was telling us to date a bus driver. Now in September, Tyler Perry is telling us to date someone with an EBT card and let him pay what he can as long as he loves you and he's good to you. My question is, it's a very simple question, complex answer, but a simple question. Why are Black women the only group of women ever told to partner with poverty?
Tyler, and I'm going to touch your hand when I say this. Go put on your wigs and your heels and come back to me woman to woman, because you are speaking from a viewpoint you have never lived out of, honey bunch, okay? You have all this unresolved trauma with your own father, which is why you struggle to hold Black men accountable. You yourself have to cosplay a Black woman and pander to white America for 30 fucking years just to become the multimillionaire that you are. What I see right now is a gaslighting page right out of Oprah's book. You're scared because you just got this studio and the writers are on strike that when we come back from all of this shit, Black women are no longer going to tune into you because we have healed past the point of accepting this type of bullshit as entertainment. I'm willing to bet your entire net worth that you can't make a movie or a television show without the concept of struggle of somebody got to be on the brink of divorce, somebody mama got to have cancer, somebody has to have a wicked baby mama from fucking hell. What I heard was Black women should take care of Black men and stop expecting Black men to be able to take care of them, which makes perfect sense coming from you because you created Medea to sustain Tyler, did you not? I'd have made it better had you turned around and said, Black men, you need to learn how to submit to Black women, because I'm not going to be the provider and he gets to be the motherfucking lead. He's not leading me into debt. I make enough money for me, but now you telling me I gotta feed 2 mouths? If I could afford it without you, I should be able to afford it 2 times over when I get with you. You would think after painting the Black community in such a negative light for the last 30 years, you yourself would know that Black men are the most insufferable people on the planet when they don't have any fucking funds. If Black women wanted to settle for something less than what we're deserving of, we would simply audition for one of the roles that you're casting for. There's Black men and Black women in my comment section are like going, why are you so mad about what Tyler Perry said? I wasn't that hungry, but I'm a big bitch, so I could eat again. Number one, Tyler just took us from going 50-50, which was already unacceptable, to 95-5. 98-2. One of the biggest problems in the Black community right now is y'all want Black women to keep breaking generational curses without it affecting Black men. Y'all don't want to have to step up to the plate and be accountable for anything. Oh, so Black men are supposed to go 95-5 with the woman? Who the fuck told y'all to do that? Y'all are not dating smart either. I'm gonna make it make sense for you real quick. If I'm making $250,000 a year and you're making $50,000 a year and something happens to me, you cannot sustain our lifestyle. So guess what? Like I was already doing when I was providing for both of us, now I have to stress for both of us. Do you see what the fuck the problem is with that? Y'all are acting like Tyler said, oh, the man makes $200K and the woman makes $250K. We're not talking about a $50,000 difference. All he can pay is the light bill. So our mortgage is still going to be due. Our car payments are still going to be due. The water bill is still going to be due. Everything outside of the fucking light bill will still be due. And how is that man supposed to provide for us? He fucking can't. But if y'all were to go through something, how do you know your man's not going to step up to the plate? So I'm supposed to wait until we're hungry and there's nothing on the plate for him to step up to it. Everything is not about money. You guys are in love. Yeah, we're in love and in fucking poverty. Great. Listen, we are not going with the scenarios y'all like to make up in your head to make you feel safe. We're going with what Tyler said. So if you can't stay on topic, sometimes you just got to shut up when you're talking.
Is it just me?
Now, okay. Okay, so this is why we have to have this conversation. Now, I said, according to the bills, according to all that stuff, no. But let's be honest. Stuff like Black men are the most insufferable people on the planet when we don't have any funds. I'm gonna tell you one thing. As a Black man who's been in good positions in life, in bad positions in life, I believe I can speak for a lot of brothers out there when I tell you, when we're down bad, when we're in a bad position in life, I promise you, we do not need any reminders that we're down bad. I promise you, we get reminders on the regular basis. There's been Black men who grew up their whole life hearing stuff like when a Black man ain't broke, he ain't shit. When a Black man, he's unsufferable when he doesn't have any funds. We've heard that our entire life. Niggas ain't shit. We've heard that our entire life. We don't need any reminders for that. Let's just be very honest with that. All right. That type of energy, that type of thing. Oh, you can only afford the light bill. we're going to start getting into it the more videos we break down with that. But that type of talk shows you already have some level of disdain for black men in general. Okay? Because if a black man was to say black women are the worst people in the world when they're fat, it would be a huge, big controversy of how could you say that? How could you say that? How could you say that? But when a black man is broke, then it's cool to pick on a broke black man. And I'm not talking about a black man who's bummy like the guy Tyler Perry was talking about, who's like, hey, the light bill is what I can do. You know what I'm saying? I can buy you some popcorn at the movies on Tuesdays every now and then. But besides that, I'm only making $300 a month. Nobody's talking about that. But I'm talking about the fact that, and there's a lot of black men in the chat room who are contesting with what I'm saying right now. Stuff like this happens. And we'll have women who are riders. And let me give some advice for the sisters out there, because you might deal with a man who goes, who's trying to like really get it out the mud or start a business, start a career, and he goes through ups and downs. You sticking with a man when he's going through ups and downs is not nagging him every 5 minutes. Because a lot of times, let's be honest, when a man doesn't have any money, the women turn into women like that. All right. And this is going to prefix the other videos coming forward, because people say men get insecure when we don't have any money. None of the black women's, he said, none of the black women's prayers matter. None of the prayers matter. What it says just mean now? So none of the black women. Yeah, I think I'm not sure exactly what you mean with that. Listen, I'm gonna say this. Let's be very, very real. A lot of black men, when they go through it or whatever the case is, we have black women, and I will give our sisters this. Out of all women in general, black American women are the number one riders, period. I would be lying if I said anything different. No other woman can hold a candle to being a rider that our women can. Okay, so I got to give y'all flowers for that. I will also say, because we're having a very balanced conversation, I will also say, on the other hand, too, there's a lot of women who, when their man is kind of down bad, they turn into big women like that. Like this. I guess I'm pointing the wrong. They turn into that. They turn into, oh, you're insufferable. They're talking down on them. When they have it and they don't, the abuse skyrockets. Oftentimes they become power hungry. They start telling men what to do. They emasculate the men, and then they say stuff like, oh, a man is insecure if he doesn't have any money, which can be true. That can be true, and it does happen, because when a man ain't got it like that, when a man got to look for his lady to take care of him and everything, and he can't really even take care of himself, because if you can only afford a light bill, you can't take care of yourself. As a grown man, you cannot take care of yourself anywhere. You're not even an efficient roommate if you can only afford the light bill. But when that happens, right, then you see stuff like women saying stuff like that to black men and like getting at his ego, constantly reminding him and belittling him. So that can't work either. All right. So this is why we have these balanced conversations when it comes to stuff like that. I'm going to play some more of the video, and then we're going to start breaking it down as we go along. All right. I see some of y'all comments. I'm going to address it in a little bit.
Is starting to feel like there's some kind of agenda. Because why are there so many people across so many platforms trying to convince young Black professional women to settle for men with half their work ethic? The math is not mathing. It's not making sense to me, and I'm getting suspicious, because what is going on? These women, who many of them have had to work very hard for a very long time to get what they have, do not want a man that is lazy. A man who lacks work ethic, especially when they had to work so hard to get what they have. I would even go as far as to say that laziness and a lack of work ethic are two of the least attractive traits that that kind of woman can observe in a man. Nothing will send that kind of woman packing and running to the hills faster than observing or identifying lack of work ethic and laziness in a man. And I mean, come on now, we live in a patriarchal and capitalist social system. This is a world that is infused with patriarchy and patriarchal privilege. Our economic system was literally built by and for men. Think about every job or career across every class tier. So your lower class, working class, middle class, upper class, every job that's associated with men and masculinity, that's what sociologists refer to as masculine typed jobs, is considered higher status, more prestigious, garners more respect, and outpays the equivalent feminine type job. So your job that's associated with women and femininity. Just take a second. Think about every job at every class tier associated with men and the equivalent one associated with women. The one associated with men pays more. And there are so many jobs that men can pursue that earn upwards of 6 figures that don't even require a college education. There's so many. So men have so many opportunities to earn a living wage. They just do. They just do. Those are just the facts. And so a man who can only contribute to the light bill, I'm sorry, but that's not going to be appealing to a woman who had to work and claw her way to career success. It's just not. It doesn't make sense. And I don't know why these men keep trying to sell this to women. I don't care whether or not you think that, some women are not attractive enough to have standards. You are not going to sell a hardworking woman on a man who lacks work ethic. These women are not buying what you're selling. So you might as well move on to a worthier cause, like trying to instill work ethic in these men. Those are just the facts, okay? The math is not mathing.
Okay. All right. Get this out the way. Somebody saying I'm pandering. I'm not pandering to anybody. I'm having a balanced and fair conversation. We're going to have to be honest. There is a segment of men, and I talked about this in my Fresh and Fit video. There's a segment of men who've kind of been rejected and hurt, got a little bit of bitterness towards women, especially black women. So anything you say that's not negative about black women is pandering. If you give black women their credit for anything, that's pandering. Okay. Y'all, it's a lot. Come on, y'all. Let's be real. Because I see some of the comments that you guys don't see, because they come up and YouTube asks if I approve of it. So I see it. We got to get off that. All right. Am I saying that black women are perfect? In the previous video, I said, no, that's not the case at all. Okay. But let's be real. Y'all, the whole, a black woman is good for anything besides sex. If I say that, then that's pandering. Y'all need to stop that, because this is why women don't like you, because you're showing a level of immaturity when you make statements like that, when you're not even listening to the other person. Even if you disagree, to go to the length to say it's pandering or simping is come on. Let's be real. Let's stop that. All right. Now let's get to the other thing. The woman who said, okay, there's a lot of different jobs and it's a patriarchal and men make more because of the man thing. Let's be very, very real. There are jobs that are needed in society that men are more likely willing to do than women. Let's be honest. There is no job that is just gatekept. There's no job that is gatekept for men only. Only men can do it, and women don't have access to doing that. Most of what she's talking about, the female jobs and the male jobs, she's really referring to jobs where you're inside of a place. The place got AC. You're not really picking nothing up heavy. You're not really doing any physical labor or anything like that. You're not really doing anything dirty. She's talking about jobs where you can sit at a desk or a computer and you can do it. And nothing is wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a female not wanting to pick up a cinder block up a flight of stairs. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to be honest. There is difficulty and safety too involved. Construction is a much more dangerous job than, being what do they call those things? Customer service, working a customer service line or something like that. So they're going to pay men more for being out in 90, 100 degree weather or freezing temperatures doing manual labor. I'm gonna be honest. I worked at UPS for 4 years. Do you know how many? I've seen a lot of people come and go. A lot of people come and go. Most of the people I've seen come and go, and I'm talking about they was there one day, they didn't last a week, or they quit within the same week, were women. It takes a lot for you to wake up and you're sitting up there picking up tires at 4 o'clock in the morning, putting them on a conveyor belt. Okay. When you have to pick up dressers and stuff like that, or when you have to pick up a whole bunch of small packs of dense batteries, you have a truck with 1,000 little AA batteries, and you got to pick that stuff up and put it on this conveyor belt and have the truck ready to go in an hour. Most women don't, not that they can't, they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. There's levels of things that need to be done in society. Like, for instance, the physical labor and all of these things, oil rigging, welding, things like that women are just not interested in. So let's stop with it's a bias in society, because it's not. When women, for instance, a female doctor, if you're a surgeon, she's going to get paid more than somebody who's working construction. They're not going to pay him more because he's a male. Is more difficult to be a surgeon than it is to be a construction worker. So she would make more money in that. What they're looking for is jobs that you go to a college career, and black men, let's be honest, have been saying for the longest time, those college careers don't really turn out that well in most cases. So when we say stuff like, hey, those careers, y'all gonna have to back up with that. When black men get trades and other things like that involve skills instead of degrees, and we make more money off of the skills, that's not necessarily a patriarchal thing. So we got to take that out of the equation, out of thinking that. All right. And somebody says, I served in the U.S. Army in field. I can barely even see that word. Artillery, I think it is. And you need upper body strength to do most of yeah, you do. And this isn't to shame black women. This is just to say what the situation really is. This is just to say what the numbers really show. The numbers show that women don't want to do that, or are less willing to do that than men are. So that's what it is. Okay. Let me see. We're going to continue.
Joking, man.
Gives his opinion. To be totally very, very, very honest, when it comes to situations, because Tyler Perry was talking about black men and black women, he was not talking about Arab men at all. So I don't see why we need an Arab man's opinion on this situation.
I'm telling you, you guys are not supposed to work. Get educated, work while you're single. After you have a family and kids, that's it. It's not your responsibility to pay for the guy for even 1 cent. Mm-hmm. Your phone has to be paid for. You have to have some money in your bank account. Call it a day. It's none of your business to think about what comes in tomorrow. That's the shit we deal with.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Every single girl in our...
I don't know why. Did it just mute? Don't know why it just muted.
Perry just hates black women.
Okay. We're going to fast forward past that anyway.
Perry just hates black women because from
now,
his...
I want to say this one thing too. Black men, for the longest time, have been advising black women to not listen to Tyler Perry. So the whole Tyler Perry hates black women. Yeah, we've been saying that. Tyler Perry has put out a lot of negative stereotypical images about black people, not just black women, black people in general. We've been saying that for the longest time. Now all of a sudden Tyler Perry says something that black women don't like. Now everybody wants to acknowledge the fact that Tyler Perry don't like black women. Yeah, we've been saying that. It was different when Tyler Perry was doing something and he was making the black men look worse than the black women. Then y'all didn't see it as Tyler Perry hates black women. But now that he said something off script, now people want to acknowledge that. Black men been saying this. So let's just be real with that.
Scripts, his movies, Diary of a Mad Black Woman, he is always like making the woman in his movies the victim, doesn't really ever get happiness. Like, and now we got to settle for somebody who can only pay the light bill when we paying a mortgage. Why do people assume or think that black women should just be happy with scraps? If we are utilizing our gifts and doing all the stuff to be able to pay mortgages and all the other stuff, what do we need y'all for? What do we need y'all for? In the age of vibrators, what do women need men for?
I'm gonna be honest. That's stuff like that. Y'all, stuff like that is very immature. Just as a grown person saying, hey, I got to vibrate. If a dude said, hey, I pay my own bills, I can cook and clean, I got lotion at the crib, what do I need a woman for? Everybody would look like, are you serious? Like, yeah, man, I got a laptop, I got my adult videos, I got lotion at the crib, I got towels. You know what I'm saying? I can do it anytime I want to. What do I need a woman for? Everybody would look like, okay, with that type of immature mentality. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear stuff like I got a vibe, that's very immature, because first off, it ain't nobody replacing an actual person sexually. There's not a machine that can replace a person sexually. Let's be honest. Okay. And that goes for men and women. That's why nobody's looking at a dude like, really? That's, if a dude said the same thing, people would be like, okay, that's weird. Let's be honest. But the thing is that also regulates the person to just a sexual thing, or even a sexual thing. If they say, oh, what do I need you for if I can pay my own bills? Okay, that's true. But let's be honest. And this is something that we have to have the maturity to understand, that it's not only just about paying the bills. A man's value, we're talking about black men here, so when I say a man, I don't mean just all men, I mean black men. Our value is not limited to exclusively paying bills and having sex. That is not the total net worth of our value. Okay, it's to a degree almost dehumanizing to say that. We're not just sitting up there, the bills are paid and we come home and we lay the pipe down and then that's it. Black men are actual human beings, and we're going to have to acknowledge that the worth of a black man is more than that. The importance of having a black man in the home, leading you, providing not just financially, but leading you and your family to success and prospering, is not just limited to his sex or him being able to pay the bills. There's a lot of men who are able to pay bills and who can have sex, but they can't lead a family to success. They can't handle family they can't handle anything. Okay. No man is going to go around and say, I'm a great husband, I pay all the bills. Because you need more than just paying the bills to be a good husband or a good father. Nobody's going to say, hey, I'm a great husband, I have sex with her every time she wants to. You need more than just that. You know what I'm saying? So it takes more than just that. Now, if the same thing was said with a woman, people would understand that. Okay. We have to reach the level of maturity where we understand, there's more to a partner, a life partner that you said you dedicate your whole life to, than just sex and bills. All right. Now, I get maybe if she was trying to be funny, but there are some people who actually think that that's very mature. And she might not be trying to be funny. Let's be very honest about that. But let's continue. Because if y'all think it was bad now, it get worse.
If y'all can only pay the light bill.
Are we really shocked at what Tyler Perry said? Have you not watched his plays and his movies? That's all he stands for is black woman struggle. That's all he make movies and plays about. He loves to see us struggle. He loves struggle. He love a good black woman struggle. He love it. It do something for him because he love to write a good movie or play about it. So him saying what he said, nothing about that shocked me. He need to hear this because I was going to say, I don't know who need to hear this. He needs to hear this. I'm not being with no man who paying the light bill. It's not going to happen. And let me be very clear. I'm not against 50-50 because if 50-50 going to put me in my dream house, absolutely sign me up. I sure will. I sure will split them bills. If it put me in my dream house and I only got to go half on my dream house, absolutely. Absolutely. Sure will. And don't care what none of y'all broke girls got to say about it. Half of y'all can't even barely pay your own bills, let alone talking about 50-50 or 100. Yes, I sure would do 50-50. Don't care. Right? But what I'm not doing is him paying the light bill. Not the light bill, not the power bill, not the cable bill. None of that. If we're going to do 50-50, we're doing 50-50. But we're not doing I pay big bills, you pay little bills. Like we're not playing that game. Right? Then I love a good man who, stand by your side and supportive and all of that good stuff. Absolutely. That's what I want. But that needs to come packaged with a man who could at least pay 50 of the bills. Like it's not coming with somebody who paying the light bill. It's not going to happen. And before any of you men come getting spicy in my comment section, check yourself because you're not my man. So you don't need to worry about what I say. Right? You ain't paying my light bill. You ain't paying none of my bills. You're not going 50-50 with me. You're not doing anything with me. So what I say is no concern to you. Worry about whoever it is that you're dealing with offline in real life. But I said what I said. I'm not dealing with no man. I don't care how good of a man he is. And the only thing he can do is pay the light bill. Not going to do it. And the flip side of this whole conversation that many women have already talked about before is when you get with a man who makes significantly less than you, those men are intolerable to deal with. And I'm not going to argue with no man about this because unless you're a man who dates men, you don't know. But if you're a woman, then you know how it is to date men who don't make as much money as you. They are insufferable. They make everything about money. They be jealous. They have attitudes because they money funny. They just annoying. Nobody wants to deal with that. Nobody wants to deal with that. And then nobody wants to deal with having somebody laying up in the house and the only thing they doing is paying the light bill. Stop it.
Hey girl, you can continue to listen to
now
that mess if you want to, but he's basically saying that women's, but we all know he's talking about black.
Let's before we get to that, let's acknowledge what she just said. Okay. I'm glad we have people in here now. Let's be real. I do not advise a 50-50 relationship financially. I do not advise that at all. That don't work. That don't work. It don't. Okay. And I'm not sitting up there trying to be a relationship coach and tell everybody what they need to do or anything like that. But I'm saying if it's all like, okay, if the rent is $1,000 a month, I'm gonna pay $500. You're gonna pay $500, and this is just how it's gonna be forever and ever. Man, let me tell you, that is a recipe for disaster. It might work in the beginning, but that's not gonna last. I'm telling brothers right now, that 50-50 stuff ain't gonna last. And let's be honest, nobody is gonna really want a 50-50 relationship because being real, can we get real? Can we get real? Being real, people still want to, whether they believe it or not, people still want to do their roles. Most men, okay, most decent men are still going to want to do the masculine role when it comes to leading, providing, being the authority of the house. Most women are going to want to sit back and, or should want to follow the lead of her man. That power dynamic is not going to work at all if it's both 50-50 financially. If she's contributing the same amount he's contributing and you listen to him, they were like, no, I'm not. if you start contributing 50-50, then essentially that makes you a roommate. If you're a roommate, no woman is gonna be all like, okay, you can't really tell me what to do. I pay just as many bills as you. You ain't got it without me. You know what I'm saying? The power gets turned off. Now, I'm not trying to say anybody should be power hungry or whatever the case is, but eventually women will grow to resent the whole 50-50 thing. Now, you'll have some that will ride if you got, like, for instance, we had a pandemic some years ago. A lot of people got laid off. Stuff like that happens. And there are some situations where, like, hey, baby, I had it all these years, but, we in a situation, I'm going to need you to kind of help me out or whatever. And she'll do it. If she has enough respect for you, she will do it. If she feels like this is temporary, if she feels like, okay, I'm going to help him out until he get back on his feet, but eventually he going to get back up on his feet. The thing is that what Tyler Perry is talking about is the man ain't ever going to get back on his feet. He's down and out. He's out for the game. It's over. You know what I'm saying? And a woman should just accept a man who's essentially defeated. I don't advise that. All right. Let's be honest. It's not going to be that way. It's 50-50 is not going to work out. Another thing is the whole black men are insufferable when they're broke. I'm going to be honest. I know a lot of black men who don't have anything, who've asked me for money and ain't gave it back. I know y'all gonna make me mad. Y'all gonna make me mad because I try to be helpful, but these bummy ashy ass niggas be asking me for money and then they don't be giving it back. And it's I got some stories for you guys. I know a lot of them, they bummy, they're lazy, they're unmotivated, they're undriven, they're unintelligent, they don't have really any honorability. Okay, they're ashy, they don't get good grades. They come to school with the same damn hoodie on. They got the same holes in the jeans, and the holes wasn't in the jeans when they bought the jeans. I know that, okay? They scrawny as hell. I know that. Trust me, I know who you talking about. I'm not gonna say any names. You know what I'm saying? Sitting up there asking me for money on Snapchat, and then I give him the money, and then he go ghost, unfollow me and all that stuff. I know that. I know how broke me, because it's a thing when a man is broke, when he's bummy. Okay, I'm gonna use an example. Let's for an example, I'm gonna just say a random name. We're just gonna say random name. Let's say this man is named Terrence. Okay, let's say this man is named Terrence. Just a random name. I don't know anybody named Terrence. Let's say this man is named Terrence. Let's say Terrence is a broke bummy dude. Let's say he is. Okay. Let's say Terrence asks for money and everything, and you give Terrence money, and then Terrence don't pay you back. Let's say that. When you look at the broke man who's always asking for something, who's always needing his baby mama to help him out, needing to ride his baby mama's car. He's asking me for money to put his stuff in his baby mama's car. When you have men like that, these are men who are undriven. These are men who are unmotivated. These are men who are really not going to get far in life. Okay, now we're gonna hope that Terrence gets better, and I'm just saying it. I'm not saying any name personally. I'm just saying a random name. Okay, let's hope that. The thing is that there is like I'm beat, I'm down, and I accept that mentality within people like him. And that's why women don't like that. They don't like a man who's all like, hey, baby, it is what it is. Life was tough. It beat me. I'm down. I'm out. It's gone. Okay. Let's be honest. Women don't like that. However, though, there is another thing where women, when you guys do have more than men, you guys will not let the man forget that. It is constantly nagged at him how he's down and out. He could lose his job, he could lose his car, something could happen to him or whatever the case is, and y'all sticking with him, y'all helping him out, but you guys are constantly on this man's neck, nagging him, belittling him, saying stuff like, he's insufferable, oh, you're miserable, oh, you lazy, oh, you. So there's a nuance to it, because there is a truth to it, that there's a lot of bummy, broke, dusty, ashy, unmotivated, undriven, lazy, unintelligent men out there who ain't really gonna be anything. You go forward 5 years, he's gonna be in the same place he was 5 years. You go forward 10 years, he's gonna be in the same place. Okay, so we have that, and we're gonna acknowledge that. We're gonna recognize that. Okay. Also, too, I know a lot of people named Terrence. So if you think it's about you and you like, damn, you ain't never gave me money, it's not about you. Okay. I just picked a random name. But we're gonna be very honest. There's a lot of women, when the second they gotta help a man out, the second they do anything for a man is, oh, you owe me now, nigga. The second you do that, okay, and there's a bunch of men in this chat room who will probably contest, the second a woman do something nice for you, it's the whole power dynamic change. She acts like she's your mother now. You know, she telling you what to do, where to be, when to be there. Like it changed automatically. Is see the 100 thing. You see, it's brothers contesting in here right now. That, you know what I'm saying? If a man, and this is why men don't even like asking for help, because when a black man is down and out and he asks for help, he will be badgered over the head until he make it back up. Okay, even by his lady. Let's be real. Some of y'all ladies, y'all say y'all some, and we not gonna put it on all, because some of y'all just ride until he get back on his stuff, and y'all ride to the sunset together. But some of y'all, when y'all listen, oh, black men are insufferable. Okay, you might be saying some stuff to him, and then he snap off because he feel emasculated. That might be some of the reason too. Let's be real. Let's not put it all on one side, because I'm gonna be very, very honest. It don't even be she paying the bill. She helped you out. You're like, hey, baby, I left my wallet at the crib. You know what I'm saying? Let me hold a 20 for gas. She will never let you forget that you asked her for $20 for gas. She will never let you forget that. She will always remind you of that $20 damn. So let's be real with it. Come on. Let's be real. Now we got some more of the video to play.
Black women, get with a guy who can at least pay the phone bill or the light bill. Girl, he doesn't understand, and I said girl to Tyler Perry, he doesn't understand that we have the light bill on auto pay. We don't need a black man for that. As a dating coach, I want you to know that that shit does not work. Don't settle. There's going to be a lot of programming, conditioning that will tell you, hey, girl, get with a black man, even if he's not self-actualized and he hasn't been successful in his career. What I'm telling you is get with the winner, girl. Get with a guy who is self-actualized, stable, both emotionally and financially, so that you can live the best life that you want to live. What I know is that if a guy makes less than 80% of what you make, it will not work. This is a dating coach who's been doing this for 13 years for Black and brown women specifically. Oftentimes, they will either want to compete with you, they will feel emasculated, and they will want to humble you and bring you down. And you all know this because many of you have probably already experienced this. This happens only for Black women. Black men and other people will want to tell you, go for the bronze, girl. Just be happy that you're getting a medal, instead of telling you to go for the gold. As a dating coach for Black and brown women, I'm telling you go for platinum, bitch, because you deserve all of it and more. What I know for sure is that so many of us have the model of our mothers and our grandmothers who have settled for less from Black men, because many of them were with these guys in the 80s and we had a crack epidemic and we had recessions. And so they were just getting with anybody and everybody, right? And giving them mad chances and letting them get away with a lot of different things that they should not have been letting them get away with, and doing most of the labor. And I don't want that for you, especially in 2023. You get to do it differently. You have more agency, independence, and opportunities, and you get to act like it. So if you want to break those patterns, definitely book a call with me and learn how to date differently for a different result. if you don't want to book a call with me and work with me, that's fine too. Just don't listen to Tyler Perry.
I'm gonna need for
Yo, who gonna book a call with him? Let's be honest. He's a dating coach for Black and brown women. Who is gonna book a call with that? Y'all clowning him in the chat room. Shout out to let me see. Let me scroll back up. Shout out to Brother Tori. It says Silly Porter is voice is deeper than this. I'm brother. It is. It is his voice, high pitched and everything. Who else said something? You said that's Tyler Perry's boyfriend. That is petty as hell. I love it. I really do. I really, really do. I love it. Come on. And we're gonna let's talk about the word deserve. Let's talk about that word, right? What do you deserve? Nothing. Intrinsically. You don't deserve anything intrinsically. Okay. And it's about time that we start saying this in society and making this normal so people can actually develop themselves to a point where they actually do deserve things. Because when you develop yourself, water reaches its own level. And this is something that a lot of the relationship coaches, they don't really be saying. It's very one-sided. Okay. Nobody deserves anything intrinsically. You deserve what you work for, what you earn, who you are. You eat what you kill. That's what it is. You don't just deserve to eat. You have to work for that. A woman, they say, okay, well, you're settling less for what you deserve. Okay, well, what makes her deserve this grand millionaire what makes her deserve that? Let's be honest. She doesn't deserve that intrinsically. You know what I'm saying? Just like a man's not going to say you deserve a woman like Beyonce. Okay, well, what makes you deserve a woman of her caliber? Not even necessarily saying Beyonce, but what makes you deserve a woman of her caliber? People don't really tell those illusions to men that we just intrinsically deserve anything. Too often people lie to women and be all like, don't settle for anything less than what you deserve. Let's be honest. What brings a value to a man from a woman, what makes a woman valuable to a man is not the things that make a man valuable to a woman. This is where the teamwork comes in. If you guys look at a clock, those old school clocks, they have in the clocks, they have different gears. Those are those circle things with the points. Those are called gears. When you look at the clock, gears turn in a certain way to make the clock tick on time. But the thing is that the gears have to turn in an opposite direction. The gears turn like this. They rotate like that. And they rotate to oppositely, but in sync. They're moving in different directions, but they're in sync with each other. And this is what makes the clock tick on time. This is the same dynamic when it comes to men and women. Women do not want the same things a man wants, and a man doesn't want the same thing a woman wants. Not entirely. Okay. Of course, you're going to want somebody who's good to you. Of course, you're going to want somebody who's got a good sense of humor, attractive or whatever the case is. But what women desire out of a relationship with men, it is to a degree transactional. The transaction that women are desiring is not the same transaction men are desiring. Okay. And when we understand that, and when we are transparent and honest with that, things can be more in sync, like the clock. Things like the clock can be more in sync. However, things can't be that way if one person's all like, okay, I just deserve this. I don't have to do anything. You should just give me what I'm quote unquote worth because I breathe air. And because I breathe air, I deserve these things. And I am entitled to these things from you because I breathe air. That's just not how that works. Just like you have the cogs and gears. You have like the red pill things, right? When they are like, a woman should do this, a woman should do this, and a woman should do this and this and this. And if she doesn't do this, then you slap her in the face. Like they say stuff like that. But the thing is that they are not in sync with the fact that, okay, this is what I have to do as a gear, saying you're a gear. This is how I need to rotate to get the other gear to rotate that the way I want it to and everything. This gear is not going to do that thing without me doing what I'm supposed to be doing. That's how it goes. It's a balance. It's a back and forth thing like that. And when both parties are mature and agree to the balance in the gears in the rotation, and they're both in sync, things turn out beautifully. We used to have marriages that lasted 60 years, 70 years. I think Mr. Farrakhan's wife, I think his anniversary was not long ago. They've been married for 70 years. Okay, that's longer than I've been. That's longer than my parents been. That's longer than some of y'all parents have not been alive for 70 years. You know what I'm saying? We've had stuff like that, but the reason we've had stuff like that is because society acknowledged the fact that the relationship needs to be in sync with each other. It can't be 50-50. Both parties, let's be honest, both parties need to be putting in 100-100. Let's be honest. Now, the man's 100 does not look the same as the woman's 100. Let's be very mature about that. Let me repeat. The man's 100% in the relationship does not look like the woman's 100% in the relationship, but they're both giving 100%. This is how the situation works. Not a 50-50, because when people say 50-50, they're only thinking about the bills and the finances, and that is a very important part of relationships. That's you gonna be broke and homeless without that. But that does not mean that if the bills are paid, the relationship is good, because that's not it. Okay, when both parties come to it understanding that, things can work better that way. All right, let's continue this. Let's continue.
For Mr. Tyler Perry to never give relationship advice to Black women ever again. Matter of fact, Mr. Tyler Perry, I need to see you get on Black men more. Okay, because the past couple of decades.
Now, let's be honest, and because she goes on a longer spill, but let's be honest, Tyler Perry has never been a friend to Black men. Black men have been saying for the longest time that we couldn't stand Tyler Perry in the movies and the acts and the stereotypes that he pushes out. So let's be very, very honest about that. The whole thing of, well, nobody's telling Black men. No. Tyler Perry has gone out of his way to make the Black man be the villain in almost every project he's ever made. So let's be honest.
We've done nothing but support you. We've made you a lot of money. And now that you're comfortable and sitting high and mighty, your true colors are showing. That mask has slipped. And I want to use this interview to educate Black women further on what narcissistic personality disorder in Black men looks like. Internalized misogyny.
Oh boy. Y'all take your pens and papers out, because we're about to learn a lot. We're about to learn the narcissistic disorder that Black men have in the internalized misogyny. Y'all pay attention, because she's about to teach us something.
You're telling us to settle. If the man is secure and comfortable with the fact that his woman makes more money than him, and he's a good dude, we as Black women should settle and be happy. You know, that's all we can get. That's what I got from that video. But see, Mr. Perry, here's the problem, sir. Okay, here's the problem. There is no such thing as a secure Black man who is comfortable with his woman making more money than him. If they're out there
it's very far and few in between, very small percentage, because I've been in relationships with men that make less money than me, and they all fucking resented me. In the very beginning, they loved every bit of it. I spoiled them rotten. You know, I treated one ex on a vacation. We flew to Europe. He totally ruined the entire vacation. He was unappreciative. You know, pampered, bought clothes, cologne, jewelry, spoiled the nigga, you know, cooked all that, tons of sex, and he still cheated. See, Black women have been willing to accept less from Black men. We have been willing to struggle. We have been willing to do the ride or die, and it's not working. I don't care how much a Black man, you know, is comfortable with his woman making more money than him. That's good in the sense of the whole transactional thing. Yeah, what man would not mind his lady making more money because she's picking up most of the slack in the house and paying most of the bills? But still, what's going to happen? He's going to cheat on her. He's going, you know, he's going to expect her to allow him to do whatever he wants, because he knows in society as a man, he's really supposed to be the provider. He knows that deep down in his heart that he's supposed to be the provider. So, you know, he might be happy that she makes more money because she can pay the bills, and it relieves him of his masculine duties, you know, and that puts him in his feminine energy. But he will have hidden resentment for her because she is a much harder worker. She's more successful, more ambitious. He will have hidden resentment. I'm really shocked at you, Mr. Perry, Tyler Perry, for even, you know, Black women are tired of settling. We're tired of being y'all ride or dies. We're tired of accepting the bare minimum. It is time for Black men to raise their standards. As a single Black woman, everything that I have, I've worked hard for. Why can't Black men get out here and bust their ass and work hard and get their lives together, go to therapy, you know, get good credit, save up lots of money before they enter a woman's life? They all need women to build themselves up just to shit on them. And here it is in this video. You're telling us that we should be happy for the bare minimum. Be happy that a nigga is paying the fucking light bill if that's all he can do. As long as he's secure, if he's able to pay the light bill, we should be happy. No, I'm not happy. I'm not settling. Black men need to raise their fucking standards and do right. And if they don't want to be with us and they want to date women of other ethnicities and races, they're going to find out the hard way, you know, that the women that are not Black, they're not putting up with this shit either. I blame Black men and the coddling. Their mothers have coddled them. Their mothers have emasculated them. Their mothers have not protected them from the abusers and molesters in the family. And they're mad at their mama. So they grow up with this internalized misogyny that they have towards their mother. And Mr. Tyler Perry, if my memory serves me correct, your mama did not protect you from your abusive daddy. See, this is what narcissism in Black men looks like. We know your history with your dad. You might have forgiven him, but there's a part of you that blames your mama for not protecting you. And that's where that internalized misogyny comes from. And you're still carrying that with you to this day. It came out in that interview. I will not accept bare minimum from the Black man. The Black man has to raise his standards and get his shit together before he enters my life. No, you're not just going to come in here and pay a light bill. I want the whole fucking shebang. I deserve princess treatment, and I will not settle until I get it. And if a man does not come along and give it to me, I'll give it to myself. But I refuse to settle for the bare fucking minimum. Black women are tired. And the fact that you're telling us to settle also says to me, like, Mr. Tyler Perry, do you want all the rich, successful Black men for yourself? You want Black women to settle for the bullshit at the bottom so that you have access to the better quality Black men at the top? Y'all be blessed.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Now that was a long one. And a lot was said about that. So the first thing I want to acknowledge is the whole, because she wasn't the first one. Notice how a couple of women, they brought up his relationship with his father. Oh yeah, because your father abused you and your mother didn't. Like, hold on, whoa, because he gave his personal take on relationships, and y'all disagreed with that. Y'all bringing up his abusive past, his father abusing him, and his, like, do you see the level of like how low they will go, the vitriol they will go when they disagree with somebody? Just a simple, it could have been a yeah, I don't agree with that. There's a whole bunch of people who disagreed with Oprah's black men who disagreed with Oprah's relationship. Nobody was all like, Oprah, wasn't you abused as a kid? Didn't you want to be this? As like that type of stuff shows something about the character. And I'm showing you using this to say, when you look at this, do you imagine that a man would be pleased around this woman at all, whether he has more money or less money? Based off of that video alone, you don't know anything else about her. And she looks like, she don't look very young either. She ain't in her 20s or nothing either. Asking for the princess treatment because you deserve it, because you pay your bills. This is the type of stuff. Now, can you imagine if she said that? If she said that on camera to Tyler Perry, can you imagine what she would say to her man when they get into an argument and she got more money than him? I'm gonna be very real. And I wanted to show you that because there's a lot of women who, when they have more money, it becomes very abusive. They become incredibly abusive in the relationship. Not all, but you see that stuff. Oh, and a man's still gonna cheat. He's not gonna appreciate anything. That's probably because you were probably very unsufferable to be with. It was probably you who was unsufferable. You nagged him, you annoyed him, you drove him into the arms or the legs of another woman. You pushed him that way. Oh, the second we got to Europe, I flowered him with stuff. A lot of times y'all do that, and y'all have the sugar mama phase of all y'all buying them gifts and shoes and clothes and food and all that stuff. And then after that, now it becomes the abusive phase, comes right after that. The way she talked about Tyler Perry and his personal situation, and black men got to step up and black women are tired of being ride or die and all that stuff. You can only imagine the type of stuff she would say to her man behind closed doors. So you can only imagine how men are like, you know what? I'm cool with this because I'm still a man, whether I got money or not. I still have personal self-respect. At the end of the day, I'm not going to be sit up there and dehumanized by you, or you bringing up my trauma like that, trying to be some pseudo therapist. Because let's be honest, women love doing that. Women love playing like they a therapist and bringing up somebody's past. You're like that way because your dad used to beat you up. They like doing that. They like doing that. So we have to stop with that. Okay. And a lot of men in the chat room that will agree that stuff will drive a man into the arms of another person. And the thing is that going back to the word deserve, what does a person deserve? You deserve that because you pay for his stuff, which is cool, and nothing is wrong with that. But let's be honest about this though. Let's be honest about like paying for stuff and doing that stuff is cool, but that stuff is cool only when you don't throw it in the other person's face. Based off of her video, you can tell every single thing she did for that man, she threw it back in his face. Everything she did, threw it back in his face. And that's what makes a man disconnected from his woman. Period. Now, I'm not advising men to sit up there and be bums and let a woman provide. And I'm not trying to say women, y'all should just provide and take care of a man, and a man should just be, you should still look at him as the leader. I'm advising on both ends. I'm trying to do the correction on both ends because I see a problem here and I see a problem here. So I'm doing the correction on both sides, right? So we're being very mature about it. The whole black women are tired for settling. We're going to have to stop that. what are you settling for? Because I showed you the statistics earlier. Black women collectively are not making more money than black men. So the whole we're settling, yeah, you're settling. The only way you can say you're settling is if you could do something better. The world ain't full of rich black men and you just stuck with the poor one because you just wanted to be with him. Let's be honest. We all in this situation where we're all facing social economic deprivation. But that doesn't mean you're settling. That's not what that means. Gonna play a little bit more because there's something I want to read, an article I want to read after this. And another thing too, before we go on, another thing too, a lot of women with money, I'm not gonna say a lot. Let me clarify. There are some women with money who money and being able to have money is their personality. They have no personality outside of that. They're a pain to talk to. They're annoying. That's all they have is money. Men do not enjoy their company. This is why those women with money, because why doesn't she, if she's just such this great woman, why doesn't she find a man on her status level or above to be in a relationship with? A lot of women who have mentalities like that, like I'm a woman, I'm a boss, I can do what I want to do, they get these broke men because the broke men don't get options. This is why I also say as a broke black man, you can't really lead because you have very limited options in life, in your life and what you can do. So the broke black man is going to get with a woman who got more or whatever. And the woman who doesn't have any other attractive qualities besides making money is going to get the broke black man, because a black man who has his life together, his finances, his credit, and all of his emotion and everything together, he's not going to want her, even if she has a decent amount of money in her bank account, because we have to remember the things that men like in women are not the exact same as what women like in men. So men are not going to, at least a man who has some sort of finances, they're not going to look at what her finances are primarily. That's not the first thing that they're going to look for. A man, I'm gonna be very honest, and a whole bunch of men can contest to this. A man will be more willing. Let's say he makes $200,000 a year. He makes $200,000 a year. A man will be more willing to be with a woman who makes 40,000 or even 40,000, 50,000, 30,000 in that range. Let's say about 40,000. He would be more willing to do that if everything about her, he loved her personality, her sense of humor. She was very feminine. She was very articulate. She was very supportive. She did things actively to support him and help him grow. He would be much more willing to do that with a woman who made 40,000 a year than another woman who made 100,000 a year. If she was nagging, she was not feminine, she was not supportive, she was always negative, always in a bad mood, always talking down to him. Yeah, I know you make more money than she does, but she's just a better person to me. She's more of what men want. So the whole thing of I have money, so I'm going to have a man, it don't really work that way. And I'm not even saying it works that way when it comes to men, because men, having a decent woman is not the only thing. Having a decent bank account is not the only thing you need to be a good man. But I'm just saying that's what men are going to lean more towards. As long as the woman who makes 40K, she's not like, a financial burden or whatever the case is. She got some crazy spending habit and she's going to bankrupt him or something like that. If she's all of the other factors are higher, her other stats are higher, the only thing about her is the finances are much lower, he's going to pick her. Because at 200K, it's not like your finances are going to make that much of a difference to him. You have to understand that a man who's stable is not going to make that much of a difference. This is why those women go for the broke dudes, because the only leverage they have, they can't leverage femininity. They have to leverage their income. And a broke man don't get no options, so he's going to get with that woman. So this is why I give advice on both of the ends. Let's continue a little bit, and then we're gonna get to the reading the article part. Hold on. Is this the same? Hold on. I'm gonna get to the black, because I want to really get to the black people right here.
Maybe you should keep this between you and Elton John. I am not surprised that Tyler Perry is advising Black women to settle for less, because that's the exact way he writes all of his films. He is constantly humbling Black women through his work, sending the message that men with money can only give you a lifestyle and no love, so you should just be happy with the bus driver. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Men who make a lot less than their woman are usually unhappy about it and take it out on her in some way. Whether it be through verbal abuse or cheating, that man is going to do something to stroke his ego. They're always telling Black women what to do, but the message should really be to Black men that, hey, these Black women are successful and ambitious, so you need to step your game up and meet them where they are.
When I was a sophomore in high school, I hung out.
Now, okay, we're gonna wrap that up, because now we're going to get to the article. Successful and meet somebody where they are. Okay, let's be honest though. Women, these women here, they feel like their finances is enough. What they bring to the relationship is finances and sex, and that's enough for the relationship. What they're expecting men, now this is something that we have to be ready to understand, because what they're expecting men to bring to the relationship is not just finances and sex. If a man says, hey, I can pay my own bill, not even saying I'm gonna pay yours, but I got a decent money and I can have sex. Women expect more from a man in a relationship than those two things. But the women that you're seeing in that video, these series of videos, they're like, okay, well, if I can pay my own bills and I'm balling, and let's just be honest, there's not a plethora of Black women out here balling like that. Y'all get an iPhone 14 and y'all think y'all Beyonce. That's not the truth. Y'all not balling. I showed you the statistics. Ain't nobody out here balling. But we have that. We have that going on. You can't say, meet me at my worth. Okay, well, let's say we're making the same amount of money. You're going to expect me to be more than just my money and more than just my sex. So a man has to expect the same from a woman. You see, that's the way the gears turn and things get in sync. All right. Yeah, and if you want to leave, thank you. Just leave. If you want to leave, nobody's saying that you should stick with anybody who's struggling. Let me show you this. Nobody is saying that, but we have to understand the dynamics when it comes to a relationship. Okay. And why what Tyler Perry said was very off. Because the thing is that women have expectations of men. They do. Men have expectations and desires of women. Both of them do. They are not the same thing. Okay. A woman is not, a man is not going to sit up there and be all like, what do you mean? I can't find a good woman. I cook and I clean, and I cook and I clean, and that's, a man's not going to, society is going to look like, brother, what are you doing? What are you doing? Cooking and cleaning. That's not, women do not say, when they say they look for qualities in a man, cooking and cleaning is not really in the top 5 list of things that they look for in a man. I'm looking for a man to cook and clean. Most women is not out here looking for that. You know what I'm saying? So this goes to what I was saying before about the fact that men and women want different things a lot of the times. Now, there are some commonalities, but a lot of the times our desires are different. It's always been that way. It always will be that way. What a man brings to the table or to the relationship, I would say, is not going to be what a woman brings to the relationship. If a man says, I'm going to bring to the relationship what a woman brings to the relationship, the woman is not going to want to be in that relationship. If a man says, I'm bringing cooking and cleaning to the relationship and taking care of the kids, the woman is going to be like, well, that's not what I'm looking for in a man. The same way, if a woman says, I'm bringing financial stability in a career to the relationship, a man's gonna be like, that's not kind of what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? Let's be very, very honest with that. Now I want to read something. I'm going to read something real fast. I didn't even think we were going to be on this long. So let me get to it. Time kind of just like went by a lot faster than I thought. Let me get to it. Now, scroll all the way up. Study explores how the quote strong black woman hold on, let me stretch. Schema shapes the coping strategies. So we're gonna read this real fast, like just a little bit bigger for everybody, because the thing is that I don't want to advise black women to be strong and I don't want to advise that. I want to advise a sense of balance. That's what I'm pushing for, a sense of balance and unity and syncrecy in these relationships. That a lot of people are very one-sided and don't really push. Let's be honest. Let's keep it very real. All right. So it says here, in recent studies published in the American Psychological Association's Psychology of Women Quarterly Journal, researchers uncovered the intrinsic ways in which black women cope with gendered racial microaggressions and traumatic stress, emphasizing the influential role of the quote strong black woman schema and womanist attitude. For generations, societal narratives and media have portrayed black women as extraordinarily resistant, sometimes overlooking the emotional and psychological pressures they face. This portrayal often referred to as strong black women, SBW, what's that? Schema implies that black women are inherently able to bear great burdens without showing signs of struggle. While the schema is a source of pride for many, it may also pose potential psychological challenges. Moreover, womanist attitude, which are rooted in uplifting all women regardless of race, providing other lens through which black women view and cope with these struggles. So the thing is that the whole, what Tyler Perry is pushing, the whole strong black women, that's not something that we push here. Not only do we push that because that throws the balance and the syncrecy off in the relationships between men and women. Schema. Okay, it's called schema. My tongue is twisted when I try to support that. But my thing is that it throws almost to a degree the humanity of the women off, because no other women have to deal with stuff like this. No other woman has to deal with stuff like this. Now, there are some problems. You said this reads like your eugenic studies. We're going to use this to cite something else we're going to read. Now, the whole women get the strong black women and y'all can do everything and y'all don't need a man. This stuff is causing a lot of unnecessary stress in the dominant society, knows that, or is very aware of that. It throws the relationship dynamic off between men and women, and it throws the woman's psychology off to be that way. That's why no other woman is trying to be that way. No other woman is trying to be the strong Asian woman, being the stronghold of the family. No, white women ain't trying to do that. White women ain't trying to be the strong blonde woman in the family and uplift. No other women are trying to do that, and none of the societal narratives are pushing those women to do that. Society is only pushing that on black women. So we have to understand there's a lot of negative effects with that. So we're going to read a little bit more into that. All right. It says the study was completed with a goal of expanding our understanding of how black women navigate the intersecting experiences of gender and race-based discrimination. We're going to kind of get into that a little bit because really ain't no gender discrimination. When you ask, okay, what gender discrimination you've had, they only cite race-based discrimination because when you're black, that's all the world sees about you. Okay. The aim was to discern how the SBW schema and womanist attitude influenced their coping mechanisms and whether their mechanisms exasperated or minimized stress resulting from gendered racial microaggressions. All right. So it says this isn't very long. This isn't very long because then we have some other statistics where we're going to go through. All right. So it says researchers employed a correlational analyst based on questionnaire data. Okay. The participants conspired of 185 self-identified Black women living in the United States who were over the age of 18, while other factors such as sexuality, educational levels, social class were all recorded. They were not considered prior to being selected for this study. All right. So then it says each participant. Oh, wow. Okay. It says each participant provided insight into their personal experiences, beliefs, and coping strategies in the face of discrimination through a Cortex. That's a name of a company. Coltrix strategy, which took 30 to 45 minutes to complete. Questions range from assessing the frequency of gendered racial microaggressions. Now, this is what they say when they say racial microaggressions. Example 1. Have I received negative comments about my hair when I wear it in a natural hairstyle? A lot of Black women do face discrimination and things like that when it comes to their hair, but a lot of Black men do. A lot of Black men do too. When you talk about hair discrimination, a lot of Black men face hair discrimination too. So you can't say those are gendered racial microaggressions because that's not a gender exclusive thing, because Black men face that too. Now, do Black women face that more? I would agree with that. If somebody was to give a statistic or say that, I would say that, okay, I can see that being the case. But I wouldn't necessarily say that's gendered, considering that Black men, a lot of Black men, face stuff like that all the time too. Now, we're going to continue. When I hear that, two short answer boxes, sample questions, and quote, in the space below, please describe a memorable incident of discrimination you have experienced in your life because you're a Black woman. By examining their response, the team sought to identify patterns of relationships between SBW schema, womanist attitudes, and coping behaviors such as disengaging or detaching themselves in turns to drugs or alcohol. All right. It continues to say, the study revealed a nuanced relationship between SBW schema, womanist attitude, and the coping strategies employed by Black women. Some women internalize the SBW schema, which may suggest suppression of their emotions and striving for self-efficiency. Yet, womanist attitude allows these women to contextualize genderized racism. Now, we already discussed there's no genderized racism. It's racism. That's what it is. Genderized racism within a border system, thereby understanding their experiences in a wider societal context. Okay. Now, going down a little bit further, it says, this research suggests that Black women frequently rely on coping strategies that stem from their need to be self-sufficient, their ability to recognize genderized racism as part of a larger societal issue, In other words, Black women often cope with discrimination by striving for self-efficiency and understanding their experiences in relation to the intersection of racism and sexism. So, this article is kind of pushing that agenda, pushing that like intersectional agenda. So we got to take that with a grain of salt. I'm just talking about the coping mechanism. So we're kind of picking out the bones with this. Now, let's be real. Oh, and continue. Overall, Black women, namely those who strongly identify with the SBW schema, may be more likely to cope with facing gendered racism by disengaging. Okay. Notice how many times they say gendered racism. They say gendered racism a lot, as if that's some different form of racism. Okay. So just notice the agenda right there. Then it says, which is linked to increased mental stress. On the other hand, Black women with womanist attitudes, which are rooted in gender and racial equality emphasis, were more likely to cope by advocating for education on these issues. So right here is this. It ends right here. Then we got some more data we're going to pull up. It says, while the research is valuable, it is essential to note that the findings are based on correlational data, meaning that the study does not conclusively prove causation. I said causation. All right. Additionally, as the study is centered on subjective experiences shared through self-reported questionnaires, there are room for individual interpretations and recall bias. Now, this was the study, and this is where they're citing the study. So I'm doing this because it's a lot of agenda and stuff like that. I'm doing this because there's a lot of actually, before I really break it down, let me break this down. Let me show this. All right. Because I did this for a reason. I showed that for a reason. Let me see. Where is it? Where I put it? Where did I put that thing? Hold on, y'all. Okay, right here. Now, right here, this comes from the National Library of Medicine. Okay, the Women's Health Report. So we're only going to read it right here. It says background. Chronic psychological stress has been associated with several adverse health outcomes, including obesity. Black women report higher levels of psychological stress than white women and carry a disproportionate burden of chronic conditions associated with psychological stress, including obesity. Researchers also suggest that in addition to genetic stressors, Black women also experience race and gender-related stress. Okay, they always trying to like water down the racial issue by saying it's gender-related. If it was gender-related, white women would be facing the same thing. So it's not gender-related. Is the difference would be a race relation, not a gender relation. But okay. To further explore this, we conducted structured focus groups to examine Black women's perspectives about stress. So they go down. We're going to go through a little bit of the numbers. Okay. If they go down and they talk about it. Let me see where I can find some of the numbers. If this was on this page. Okay. So right here, right now we can see the demographics. Now, was this the only thing? Okay. Where was the other number thing? Okay. So we're going to look at this right here. I don't necessarily like the way this is studied because this puts all women in the same category together. But as you can see, this is I would have to read the whole table, with that. Okay. I don't even really feel like doing that because the point's been made. I don't want because I would have to read the whole table for you to understand that. So we're going to skip past that. I talked about women's health before. Women's mental health, women's physical health. I made a video about a whole live dedicated to Black women and their health before. And I talked about the stress, the unnecessary stress that they put themselves in. Okay, that society puts on them. All right. I talk about that. I advise about that. I try to help to educate so situations can get better. Now, the thing is, the whole strong Black woman thing, that is causing, if you saw with the previous article, because that's really what it was alluding to, that is causing an additional level of stress. The whole being the strong Black woman and everything like that, because men and women handle stress differently. Our bodies handle stress differently. Sometimes it can be the same, lack of sleep or whatever, but the thing is that the human body of a male handles stress differently than the human body of a female. Okay, everybody understands this. All other groups of people understand this. This is why when certain women get pregnant, they take off, because their body is going to handle stress differently, even when they're pregnant versus when they're not pregnant. They handle it differently. Society, because we live in a system of anti-Black racism, we live in that. Society puts a lot of additional stress, which is racism, onto Black women. All right. And there have been societal narratives that have been pushed that have kept women on this hamster wheel of them being stressed out. So circling back to what Tyler Perry was talking about, the whole looking after some bummy Black dude who's not doing anything or whatever the case is, being the strong Black woman holding together some dude's failed rap career or whatever the case is, that's going to cause a level of stress that Black women shouldn't be. One of the best de-stressors is not a career change, is not a location change or whatever the case is. It's not that. One of the best de-stressors is having a partner to take that stress off of you, because there are always going to be problems. Whether you change your career, whether you change your school, whether you change your job, whether you change where you live, there are always going to be problems. If a woman has a man who is going to stick with her, who's going to ride with her, or whatever the case is, and those two are in sync together, they can together de-stress each other out. Because a woman can be a good de-stressor for a man as well too. That's where the balance comes in. One is not supposed to de-stress the other, and the other one's just supposed to be the superhero for the next person. There's a balance in all of that. This is the whole reason we're talking about this. Okay, both parties giving 100% of what is on their side. Like I said before, 100% on the man's side is not going to look the same as 100% on the woman's side. But that doesn't mean the parties are not giving 100% in it. Okay. So going back to what I was saying when it comes to the de-stressor, we want to advise for you to be in the best position for you to find that person who can add to your life or who can take away problems in your life, who can find solutions to problems in your life, who can find who can put you in a better position. But the thing with that is the fact that if society pushes this narrative that I got money, I don't need nobody. I got money, I don't need nobody. Do you see those women that we just played the video of? Those women are very stressed out. Despite the whole boss stuff, I can pay my own bills, I can do this, I'm independent. Those women are very unhappy women. Those women are very lonely women. Those women are very stressed out. They're very, very stressed out women and everything like that. Why all men cheating on you? That's saying that your personality repels men from you. Okay, you don't want to be a person who repels the opposite sex. Your personality repels men, so the only thing that you can use to attract men is your finances, which is not going to attract a man who has his finances together. You know what I'm saying? That's not necessarily what he's looking for primarily. So we want to have this thing where we advise the women, your finances are not going to mean anything. or not, I'm not saying anything, but your finances are not going to be the primary factor in a man choosing you. Okay. What you need to understand is take yourself out of yourself. Look at things from a third party. Look at things from a third person perspective. What do men want as a woman from you? Think about that. What do men want? What in your opinion, and you can think about this, what is a good woman to a man? Is that somebody who's rich? Not really. Not really. Now that's not saying a woman who has money is bad, but that's not necessarily somebody who's rich. No. So women need to think about what makes them a good woman to a man outside of finances. Because whether you got $100,000 or $50,000, the person should be the same. The person should be the same. So what is the person that is attracting these other people? These people. Okay. That way you can find somebody who is compatible. That way you can find somebody who is willing to be in sync with you. All right. So we want to give that advice. That's much better advice to give to Black women than what Tyler Perry gave. Now, my advice to Black men. As a Black man, there's a lot of people who are like, man, I shouldn't have anything. A woman should stick with me or whatever. We're going to have to get out of the narrative of you being pampered. There's a lot of Black men who, unfortunately, they were raised pampered by society giving them a break. They're single mothers. They're undriven. They're unmotivated. They're unsuccessful. And not that being in a bad place is necessarily the end. Because I've been in bad places, and I did not allow that to be the end for me. I know a lot of other brothers and sisters who've been in bad places, and we're just going to talk about the brothers. I know a lot of other brothers who've been in bad places, and they did not allow that to be where they stayed. They did not allow that. As Black men, you cannot allow your bad place to be your bad place, that's where it is. That's what Tyler Perry was advising. Tyler Perry was talking about, well, I mean, as long as he loves you and as long as he gives you kisses every night and makes you breakfast in bed, the light bill is all he can pay, that's fine. No, it's not fine. It's not fine, because as a man, even if you have all of the other characteristics, as a man, you are far too reliant on your woman's finances. So even if she stays with you, if she don't make enough for the more, if she loses her job, y'all both out of luck. Y'all are both terribly out of luck. It would be one thing if you are like, baby, I'm sorry, my business just closed down. We got another a storm just came through and wiped my business completely off the ground. It was there yesterday, it's gone today. I don't have no money anymore. You know what I'm saying? So if that happens, or whatever the case is, the woman is going to not necessarily say pack her bags that night, but she is going to gauge, and this is my advice to the fellas, she is going to gauge how your security in your masculinity and your competence is going to be after the fact. Okay. Let's look at sports, for example. There's a lot of people who, when they say one loss fuels the next loss, or one victory fuels the next victory, there's a reason why when you see a player in a basketball, let's use basketball for example, you see a player in basketball, he starts missing a few shots, and then next thing you know, he's missing everything, and he's on this downward spiral. Now you see other players, they miss a couple times, but they don't let that get to them mentally. They're thinking to themselves, okay, I missed a couple times, I lost a couple games, I'm still this great basketball player. I'm going to come in and I'm going to shake off that defeated attitude coming into the next game. So in one game, you might see LeBron or whatever the case is, he might lose. He might not do that good. He might not score those many points. In the next game, you don't see it phasing him. You see him, okay, he's doing better than he was before, because that didn't phase him from the last game. But there's other players who, when they're down and they miss a game, they lose some points or whatever the case is, then the next game they do worse because they have this dark cloud over their head, and it's holding them down, it's anchoring them down, and psychologically they're saying, I've lost, I can't do it, I'm done. So psychologically they can't even succeed. And then there are some men who are just complacent with that, like, hey, I'm just not that good of a player, that's just what it is, I'm gonna shoot my couple points. Is LeBron's son okay? I hope yeah, I was told he was out the hospital. I know he faced some medical thing. I was told he was out the hospital and he's okay. But that's the thing. As a black man, that's what you need to be on. It's not even necessarily about what you think and what you believe. I mean, what your money is at the moment. Okay. Because the thing is that if you're this type of person, if discipline and drive is in your character, and that go-getiveness is in your character, in your spirit, and it's there every day when you wake up, you will find a way to make it happen. You will find a way to get that certificate. You will find a way to pass that class. You will find a way to get that job, to start that business, to get your fitness in check. You will find a way to do that if that drive is in there, okay? If that discipline is in there. If that's not, you'll be working and something will happen and you'll become unmotivated, okay? And this is what we're talking about when it comes to the difference between motivation and drivenness. In drive, drive has to be the core engine inside of you that pushes you forward. Motivation can be a good boost to the drive, but motivation and drive are not the same. They're not equally as important, all right? The drive is what is important. The motivation can come and go. The boost can come and go. You might have spikes when you're very, very motivated, okay? And then you're not so motivated. You can't rely on the boost that is the motivation. You have to rely on that inner drive in that inner discipline, you know? That inner drive and that inner discipline is going to make you do it whether your motivation is there or not. The motivation is there to aid the drive. We have a lot of people who are too reliant on the motivation, and they're constantly doing things to stay motivated, which is fine. Motivation is good, don't get me wrong, but the thing is that you need to focus on the drive. If the drive is not there, the motivation is eventually going to fade, because you are never going to stay motivated with anything, with fitness, with finances, with career, with nothing. There's going to be days you don't want to get out the bed. There's going to be days when you're motivated, you fly out the bed and you shower and you run out the house and everything is fine. That's cool. That's the motivation. There's going to be days when you wake up, you're tired, you didn't get no good sleep, you don't want to get out the bed, but that drive in that discipline forces you to get up anyway. That is what you need to have. All right. So when the women see that the man has lost that drive, that the motive, he's down and that drive isn't helping him get back up. For instance, using the basketball analogy, when they see, okay, LeBron, you lost the game, now you lost this game, now you lost the next game and the next game and the next game, LeBron, you ain't playing the same, LeBron, what's going on? Then his value is going to start going down. Then people are like, look, LeBron, he really ain't where he was before. But that you don't see that happening with LeBron. We can talk about other characters, players, Steph, even Kobe lost games. Michael Jordan lost games. They didn't win everything. They didn't. There's no player at all, ever, that you've seen that every time they shot the ball, they made it in. None of them. Not one. Not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, not LeBron James, not Michael Jordan, not Kobe Bryant, not Steph Curry, not nobody. Nobody you've seen. But you see, when it comes to those characters, no matter how many times Kobe might have shot and missed, Kobe is still going to shoot the ball again like he knows it's going to go in there. Kobe's not going to let that psychological, I missed that that three-pointer. He's not going to let that anchor him down for the next shot. All right? So this is the advice that I have to give to the men and the women, because let's be honest, we need somebody who's fair and mature when it comes to both of it, right? So when I say a broke black man can't lead, I want to show that one more time. When I say that, and I focus on getting your weight up, I put the muscle sign and the dollar sign. If I could change one single thing, I would put the brain. I would put the brain in there. Because getting your weight up and being an alpha male how you want to be is not just being financially stable or even physically in shape. It's also about your mentality, okay? Your emotional maturity, all right? Your drivenness, okay? Because that's going to be the core thing that holds everything else together. Nothing else will. That's going to be that, all right? So that would be my advice to the men and my advice to the women, all right? Let's get out of this delusion and understand what we need to do to make ourselves more in sync with each other. Now, I did not expect to be on for 2 hours. I really, really did not. And I got other things to do. But brothers and sisters, I appreciate you guys being here with me. Hit that. You can go to my Instagram, which is Afro Elite on Instagram, and then Twitter, which is Afro Elite on Twitter. Now, before we go, let me show you guys again the 20% off sale that we have going on. The 20% off merchandise sale that we have going on. You see right here. You got the reparations thing going on, and you see the FBA thing. Those are the biggest seller, or the FBA thing is the biggest seller. You say you just subscribed. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that subscription. Thank you. NYC Beauty. Thank you very much, beautiful. Appreciate it. All these things, 20% off for 6 days. That's a very, very good sale. I told you guys I was coming out with a sale soon. So this is the sale. The links to that is in the description below as well, too. Is in the description. So you guys can go to that description and you guys can go and hit that. Right? Now, with that being said, brothers and sisters, be one salute to every single last one of you guys. I appreciate you guys for being here. We got a lot of stuff coming up this week. We're on our way to 10K. We are on our way to 10K. All right. And that's because of all of the in sync. We're in sync. I'm in sync with you guys. You guys are in sync with me. So that's why we're on our way to 10K. I appreciate every single last one of you guys. And of course, brothers and sisters, you all have a good one.